Stop trying to win arguments. The most powerful person in any room isn't the loudest. They're the one who knows exactly what to say to shut the whole conversation down. Most people lose every argument before they even open their mouth. Not because they're wrong, because they sound weak. Today, I'm going to give you 7 phrases that will make you sound so dangerously powerful, people will think twice before crossing you again. Let me assure you that the phrase number 5, that one alone is worth this entire video. Stay with me till the end. Phrase 1, you might be right. This phrase is a weapon disguised as agreement. It sounds harmless, almost submissive, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful psychological moves you can use. When someone attacks you, criticizes you, or tries to provoke you into an argument, they're expecting resistance. They want you to defend yourself. They want you to react emotionally. But when you calmly respond with "you might be right," something strange happens. Their entire strategy collapses. They prepared for a battle. They sharpened their arguments. They were ready to push your buttons. And instead of fighting back, you give them nothing. No anger, no defense, no emotional reaction. The Stoics understood this principle thousands of years ago. They called it amor fati, the love of fate. Instead of resisting what happens, you accept it without emotional disturbance. You absorb the moment without letting it control you. And when you do that, something powerful happens. The person attacking you suddenly loses their leverage because a fight requires 2 people, and you refuse to play. That's why this phrase doesn't make you weak. It makes you untouchable. Now, the next phrase is one most people get completely wrong. Phrase 2, I have nothing to prove to you. 9 words, 9 simple words that can end a power struggle instantly. Most arguments in life happen because people feel the need to defend themselves. Someone questions you. Someone challenges your competence. Someone tries to embarrass you. And your instinct is to respond, to explain, to justify, to prove them wrong. But the moment you do that, you've already stepped into their frame. You're playing their game. And that's exactly what they wanted. But when you calmly say, I have nothing to prove to you, everything changes. You've just removed yourself from the battlefield entirely. You're not seeking their approval. You're not asking for validation. You're not trying to win the argument. You're simply stating a fact. Your worth doesn't require their permission. And the psychological effect is immediate, because now the pressure flips. Instead of you defending yourself, they start questioning themselves. And that's real power. Phrase 3, I expected more from you. Disappointment is far more powerful than anger. Anger creates resistance. Anger invites confrontation. But disappointment does something different. It cuts deeper. When someone disrespects you and you explode with rage, they expect it. They prepare for it. But when you respond with calm, controlled disappointment, it creates a completely different psychological impact. Imagine someone behaving poorly toward you. They expect you to shout. They expect you to argue. They expect emotional chaos. Instead, you look at them calmly and say, I expected more from you. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts. Now they feel small, because you're not reacting like an equal opponent. You're reacting like someone who assumed they were better than this. This concept appears repeatedly in the 48 laws of power. Never lower yourself to the level of someone trying to provoke you. Position yourself above the conflict. And when you do that, people feel the weight of their own behavior. Not because you attacked them, but because you showed them how far they fell below your expectations. If you're finding this useful, drop a like. It takes 1 second and helps this reach people who actually need it. And subscribe to Dark Mind $9.99 if you want to master the psychology of power. Because most people will never understand these strategies. But once you do, you start seeing every conversation differently. Phrase 4. That's an interesting perspective. This phrase is a stealth weapon. It sounds polite, it sounds respectful, but psychologically, it carries a very different message. When someone presents an argument, many people feel the need to immediately disagree. They debate, they argue, they try to prove their point. But arguing often gives toxic people exactly what they want: attention and emotional energy. Instead, you respond with calm neutrality. That's an interesting perspective. Notice what this does. You acknowledged what they said, but you didn't validate it. You didn't agree. You didn't argue. You simply observed it. And that subtle difference changes everything. Because now the conversation has nowhere to go. Toxic people thrive on reaction. Without reaction, their influence disappears. Epictetus taught this centuries ago. You cannot control what others say or do, but you can control your response. And when you control your response, you control the outcome. Phrase 5, I'll let you think about that. This is the one I warned you about, because when used correctly, it's devastating. Most people argue endlessly trying to convince someone they're right. They repeat themselves. They explain more. They try harder. But persuasion doesn't always happen in the moment. The real power comes from planting a thought. When you say something truthful and then calmly end the conversation with, I'll let you think about that. You create psychological tension. You're not forcing agreement. You're not begging them to understand. You're leaving the idea in their mind. And once that seed is planted, their brain keeps returning to it. Hours later, days later, they replay the moment. They reconsider what you said, and the realization slowly grows on its own. That's psychological influence without confrontation. Psychological warfare without ever raising your voice. Most channels won't teach you the next one because it's ruthless, but you need to hear it. Phrase 6, I'm not angry. I am disappointed. Anger shows someone got under your skin. Anger shows they reached you emotionally. But disappointment sends a completely different signal. When you say, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed, you're communicating something much stronger. You're saying their actions fell below your expectations. And psychologically, that creates guilt. There's a reason parents use this phrase, because it triggers something powerful in the human mind. People want approval. People want to feel respected. But when you express disappointment instead of anger, they feel they failed the standard. In dark psychology, this is called emotional leverage. You're not attacking the person. You're activating their internal judgment. And when someone begins judging themselves, you don't need to say anything else. Phrase 7, we're done here. 3 words. Conversation over. No explanations. No arguments. No emotional drama. Just a boundary. When someone is being manipulative, disrespectful, or intentionally provoking you, most people stay trapped in the conversation. They keep trying to explain themselves. They keep trying to fix the situation. But power sometimes means knowing when to walk away. When you calmly say, we're done here, you end the interaction immediately. You're not asking permission. You're not negotiating. You're making a decision. And that decision sends a clear psychological signal. You control your time. You control your attention. Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. And this phrase embodies that idea perfectly. You don't argue with manipulation. You remove yourself from it. And when someone realizes they can no longer control your reaction, they lose the only power they thought they had. 7 phrases, each one backed by centuries of Stoic wisdom and dark psychology. But here's the real secret. It's not the words that make you powerful. It's the silence after them. It's the discipline to walk away. Master these phrases, and people will never look at you the same way again.